you'll see. Basically, if you have used any drawing, a paint app, or program on the Mac, basically you should be familiar with the app itself. And we'll go to that. And one of the latest enhancements that we have added, in addition to be able to create tutorials, sketches, and so forth, is the ability to collaborate in the classroom. So, and I will show you some of the collaboration. And the collaboration basically requires some good Wi-Fi setting, which I'm hoping it will work, but we're a little bit dependent on the hotel here. But and the collaboration basically entails a teacher sending, for instance, a test to the students, and then the students working, and the teacher being able to monitor real time what the students are up to, and then and then send feedback real time to the students while they're doing the test with their cameras. All right, and we'll see that. All right, so I'll start my timer here, so I don't run out of time. So the demo, basically, I will show the toolbox, basically all the tools basically that you have available in the app, and so how do you record a tutorial, and then how do you share that tutorial. So supposing you're not a LibreCloud user, so you want to share with the world. How are you going to share that tutorial you created? So you can embed basically the files that you create in LibreCanvas just in a web page, just as you do with videos. So if you ever embedded a video in a web page, or if you don't know how to, just ask your IT guy. It's just one simple HTML string that you have to add to the web page, and you have your tutorials. And I will show you my test blog to see how you embed that. You can use also as an annotation tool, and so I'll show you briefly how you can grab a web page, annotate it, and maybe share it with your students. And last but not least, as I mentioned, the collaboration, the file sharing. So you can share your tutorial. You know, the students have the app. You can send the file, so you can use it as a collaboration tool in the classroom. Or if you are the only one using the app, you can send a link, or you can send a snapshot of what you have created, what you want to show them. So that's what we'll go through. So having said this, this is all the presentation I had, the keynote slides that I had prepared, and so that's why I didn't put an edit mode on, so there isn't really much there to do. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to shut this down. So we'll start from scratch. All right, so so this is the app, basically as it launches. The first screen is a welcome screen that says, so what do you want to do? What do you want to do? So it talks about, I want to create a new one, I want to open an existing file, or maybe I want to import a web page, I want to import the documents that I want to annotate, and or these are the most recent files you worked on. Those are the most recent file I was working on as I was preparing for the session. So those are some of the stuff that I did. So I'm going to do here the new. All right, so this is the thing. By the way, I came here last night, and these dots here, they are not on my screen. So there's something in between going from my screen to the projector. I tried to clean the lens there, but still, I don't know where those dots are coming from. So this is the app. So I'm going to use, actually, do you use iPad quite extensively? Yeah. So do you have a favorite stylus? Yeah, I want to share those tips with you later, because I've been buying stylus left and right to see which one works best. But I have my favorite so far. Maybe you'll have a better one. I want to learn about that. All right, so this is the app, the main screen. Once you say I want to create a new canvas. So there are three main areas here. So I'm going to start writing on the canvas. So, and the reason I can write, because as you can see here, this icon here on the toolbar, this one is selected here. So right, so that I cannot do this. Okay, so this is what we call a toolbar, and this is where all the actions, the features basically that let you draw, sketch, write, color, import, insert web pages or images and whatever. So this is on top here. This is what we call the menu. So just Sorry about my handwriting. It's not, I'm not the best person to demonstrate this because my handwriting is very poor. And so this is where you open file, and you save file, and you record. And we're not doing recording yet. So they'll let you do additional actions or whatever action or whatever item object you have selected. In this case, the airplane is selected. So the first one is selected that allows you to move at a size. The second one is to rotate. And so I'm going to rotate this slightly, so here. So that's it. So I rotated the object. And so basically I'm going to say, well, we're going to do a test layer that says, what is the distance of the airplane from the landing strip, right? So now how do I draw the landing strip? So I can just write the landing strip, but if you are very good at drawing, let's see here. Well, that looks like the landing strip, whatever. Or you can basically select the line tool and then draw the line, right? So this is in drawing a line. And so you can draw another line here. So let's see. So that's my landing strip. Now I wanna put some signs there. So I'm gonna put it in green. So I'm selecting the pen green here at the bottom. That looks like a landing strip. So now this is, let's say here, actually, let me do some other things here, much like I want to do a little fence. All right, so now I created this beautiful diagram or illustration or whatever. So I want to save it for later. So, and I can take a snapshot. So how do I take a snapshot? From this icon here. So this icon here. That will take a snapshot. I'm going to undo that because we don't do that. So you heard the click. So we took the snapshot. So now that's in my photos. It's right there. So now you could reuse that if you want, and then we'll reuse that in a moment. All right. So I mentioned about multiple pages. So this is my first page. So how do I add another page? I add another page by using this icon here, or icon the tray. And so if I do that, it's going to ask me to save because we need to save the file so we make sure we don't lose the information. And so this is page number 2, right? And so you can do another illustration. You can create another image, whatever, or you can import another. You can import a file. So basically, this is basically how you work with pages. So if you have a very long lecture or tutorial you want to create, so you want to think about splitting up in pages. The alternative to using pages is to also you can increase the size of the canvas. So especially on this small iPad, the frequent problem that you're going to run to, if you have used some of these drawing apps before, is that you run out of space, right? You run out of space because this is not a huge whiteboard. It's very small space. So we have this tool here that allows you to expand the canvas. So here, you can basically resize the canvas size. And so I'm going to use that, and so I'm going to increase this vertically. So you see now you have the scroll bar here. I can increase vertically, and I can increase horizontally. So if you have a lot of content, basically you want to write, so that you have the tool to expand it, so you never run out of space. All right. So I can create another page. Let's save it. So this is page 3. So I'm writing this here, so you know basically what each page is. So I'm going to save it. So now, you have all these pages. How are you going to go from one page to another? So this icon here basically is what we call the page browser. So if I tap on it, it should come up. So here, these are the 3 pages that we just created in the in Canvas here. So and I can go to the first page here, and I can go to the, and then I can navigate, so I can navigate like this. Or alternatively, I can navigate through these arrows, so here, the arrows here at the bottom, this arrow, these arrows here. This, I can navigate from one page to another. Right. There you go. All right. So that's so this is how pretty much I've explained, how you navigate your toolbar and how you create illustrations and graphic diagrams, etc. So next is basically I want to show you how you create a tutorial. But before we do that, let me show you. Let's see what's any questions so far? So far so good. So I have to log in. So another interesting aspect here is the problem that we've had with certain schools in Europe is that they're not as rich as the U.S. schools. So what they have shared iPads. So instead of giving an iPad to the students, they have 10 iPads in a classroom, for instance. And then so the iPad is shared among the students. So now when one student comes, he's going to see all the content that the students in the hour before has created on the iPad. So how do we solve that? So now you can create any content without logging in. And so that's visible to anybody who has access to the iPad. But if you log in before you actually create your content, then only the person that logged in can see that content. All right. So in fact now I'm not seeing some of the content because I'm not logged in yet. So if I log in, so I'm going to use my login. All right, so I'm going to log in. All right, so you see now the list has grown because some of the canvases that were created under my login name. So only I have access to those files. And so one of the files I wanted to show you is this one actually. I need to look up. Let's see. So this canvas, this is a tutorial that was created by one of the first beta testers we have. This is actually is a lady from Michigan, from Michigan State that created this. So, and just to want to give you some glimpse of what you can do, then we'll create one from scratch. The audio is not playing. Can you hear from the end? I'm sorry. I gave them to test it out. It was working, of course. There is no other switch, actually. All right, I'm not going to use this. It's just distracting. So, unfortunately, the audio is very faint, but there is audio in this. So, and basically, what I wanted to show you. So, this teacher basically, she was recording she was writing on the canvas, importing images and drawing and speaking over, basically doing a narration, basically of what was happening. And so basically she's explaining how histograms work, basically. So here's explaining what the dot plot is and so on. So I'm gonna stop here. I'm just gonna show you. And so this is getting overused. And so this is another one that she created, which is about chemical reactions. So you get the idea of what, the kind of things that basically you can do. And then this goes on for 20 minutes, but we were gonna, of course, cover 20 minutes. So let's go back to our basically demo. And so what I'm gonna do here, so we're gonna create our own. So we're creating tutorials. So how we create a tutorial? So normally you want to start from the beginning. So to record your actions, so you basically use this the red, the record button there at the top. So you just press that. So now you can record just the action. And so now I'm pressing the microphone because I want to record my voice as well. So now I'm recording my voice. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set the background on what we are recording. And so I'm going to choose a gallery because I want to use the one we just created earlier. So the image we created earlier, I saved it as a snapshot. Now I'm using that snapshot as a background for my demonstration, for my tutorial. So now the tutorial, for instance, let's say we want to demonstrate, we want to show an example of the Pythagorean theorem to the students, and so how that works. And we want to compute, for instance, the distance of the airplane from the landing strip, right? Knowing, so we have to use a different color here, knowing the ground distance of the airplane to the airstrip and the altitude, right? So, and we all know that the c squared is equal a squared plus b squared, and where this is a and this is b. All right. So I suppose this is the tutorial. I'm done with the tutorial, and now I stop it. So if you, there you go. This will go to the end, so I'm going to stop it here. I can resume recording, so you don't have to do all at once. So I can resume recording, and oops, there we go. And so now and the next step is c equal the square root of a squared plus b squared, and so on, and so forth. You can continue on. And so this is very simply how you can create tutorials with LibreCanvas. There's no magic behind it. It's very simple, straightforward. So assuming that you are the only user of LibreCanvas, so your students don't have LibreCanvas, and I'll show you the example when your students have LibreCanvas as well. So you can put, for instance, if you have a blog, or if you have a web page, or if you have your teaching materials on the web, as long as they are on the web, basically you can show to the world, right? So, and also, of course, your tutorial has to live on the cloud as well, on the web. So because you cannot share material you have stored on the iPad. So, and to do that, so basically you simply you select the share icon. So this is the share icon here, all right? And so I'm going to tap that. So the first share option there is really the embed. So here, basically, it's the first thing it does. It will save the canvas to the cloud. In this case, I'm using LibreCloud as my cloud storage. And say OK. Let's say send it to LibreCloud. And we'll add soon the ability for you to save this to Google Drive. We already can save to Google Drive, but for embedding, we have to extend that functionality to Google Drive, to Dropbox. Talking of which, what cloud drive do you most use? I see here a lot of people use Dropbox. The West Coast Google Drive is most used, even though Dropbox is right around the corner where I live. So what do you guys use?
I use both.
You use both? Google Drive? Oh, yeah. All right, so this is the code. That's all. So if you manage your own web page, you can just copy the code. And so there are two options here, really. There is, for you that you know a little bit about the HTML, there is an iframe option and there's the JavaScript option. If you know nothing about HTML, you can email the code to your IT guy that says, please add this to my blog, to my web page, and we'll go from there. So here, I'm going to show you an example I did earlier just for sake of time. I'm going to launch my browser here. Okay, so this is my blog. This is blog Cocelli.net, Cocelli's demo blog. So here, this is an example I did earlier, as I said. It's similar to what we did earlier. And so here. And so I can play. All right. So this is just a web page. So think of it what you have created now is just embedded in your web page like you would embed a video, a YouTube video. So that's all. All right. So that's how you can share with your students or with the world, with other people as well. So I'm going to stop it here. And this reminded me that I forgot to show you something that I thought it's needed. I didn't show some of the actions here on the left here, some of the features here. Like these are shapes and click parts that you can add. So for instance here, there is a bunch of the shapes that you can add. So like squares, triangles, so on and so forth. And so neat features that you can do. Like for instance, I want to add a cloud, right? So now the cloud is red. How do I change red to, let's say, cloud is not red. Usually it's gray. I'm going to change the border too. And so I'm going to move this. Let's say this is a very cloudy afternoon. So I'm going to move it over to the airplane. So now how do I make this so I can show so you can make the shape transparent as well. So you can see by looking at the third, unfortunately it's being cut off on the screen there. So the third option there, so the third option there is that you can make your shapes transparent, so you can see through. And then, of course, you can send sheets back and forth. Just typical if you're familiar with PowerPoint and diagramming software, basically that's typical functionality. All right. So that's about tutorial. Any questions so far? We do work a long time. Okay. All right. What I want to show you now is how do I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to import, let's say, a web page. So import onto the web page. So how do I do that? So I simply have to provide a URL. So here the URL is basically just type the URL. What is the TL.tl? Alright, so as long as you have an internet connection from the iPad, so you can grab any web page. And now, so you see this is the schedule of the conference here. And so you can scroll it to the bottom, so it can be a very long web page. And so the reason I'm showing this to you, so I know some teachers will use web content to show in the classroom. So you can use this to import any web page, and then you can use any tools in your toolbar there on the left to annotate, to write over. So let's say I want to write over this. Let's change this color, or maybe I want to show this. And so basically, so and then you can also highlight, like for instance, this is the highlighter here. This is the highlighter. So so you can bring the highlighter, and so the color is red. So here I'm going to highlight my session here, and this is good one. All right, and so that's pretty much basically you can use all the tools that you have in the toolbar on important web pages. Right. The same you can do with documents. So I'm going to use a document that I saved from my presentation, from my keynote, from Google Drive. There you go. So here, this is the TLPath conference. Basically, I saved my keynote file as a PDF. I copied and I saved it to Google Drive, and now I'm importing the PDF from Google Drive. So here, and you'll see here, imported every single page. There were 5 pages there in my keynote file, and all the 5 pages are there. So I can go to any page, and this is where we are now, right here. All right. So again, you can use all the annotation and drawing capability that you have available in the toolbar. All right, so the last piece is the sharing of the classroom collaboration that I want to show you. Any questions so far? So far, so good? Yeah? All right. What I'm going to so now let me bring in first the canvas that I want to sign. I want to send to the students. So this is this one. So it's a little better version of what we did earlier, but it's pretty much the same. So basically the test is if distance of airplane is 5 miles, how to do this 3, what is the ground distance of airplane to the airstrip, right? So this is the test. Now when I send this to the students in the classroom, so what I need to do, first of all, I need to make sure, of course you have to have a Wi-Fi, connection in the classroom. So let me just make sure that I'm still connected. Yes, I'm still connected. All right, so, and the first thing you do, you create, you make yourself visible, teacher, and then you start a session. You start a set, this is it's a classroom session, if you will, right? And when you start a session, you have the option of setting the passcode. The passcode is something that you will communicate to the classroom. So 1, 2, 3 is the passcode. The reason you want a passcode is because you are working with the Wi-Fi, so the students next door, in the classroom next door, may have access to your session. But if they don't have the passcode, they cannot access the session. So it's really a protection that the privacy basically, that only your classroom, only your students have access to your session. So in this particular case, I'm not going to set it up just for simplicity. So here's my session. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to log in as, actually let me show this. So in order to send this to, so you see those two people with the Wi-Fi file there. So I'm going to use that. So this is where you can assign file, you can send file. Assign is a special case of send. So we're just going to do send from now because it's simple. So there is no students right now that has joined my session. So I'm going to go to this iPad here. I'm just going to make sure I'm still connected to the, and then I'm going to join the session. And all right, so you see the first user joined the session, Francis Core, because I just joined the session from this. So I'm not gonna try my luck here. So I'm just gonna do with one student because that's it's my hotspot too. So that's why. So now I'm going to want to send to my classroom. So if there are students, 10, 15, 20 students, that will be listed there, all the students in your classroom. So I'm going to send a file to Francis. All right. So there is a little notification here that says you have received a file. I click on that. So this is the file I just sent from here. So now I start using, so let's say I start using my LibreCanvas app as a student, and I start writing and then do something, and then I get stuck. So now the teacher on the other iPad wants to see what is Francis up to, right? So to do that, I'm gonna go. Do you see those two icons there? Those two iPads next to each other with the arrows pointing. So basically now as a teacher, I can go there and see, so let's see who's there. So again, here I will see all the students that are in the classroom. So I want to see what Francis is up to. So I select Francis, and I say get canvas, and so we'll bring Francis canvas to me. All right. So there you go. So this is what I did. I just wrote C equal question mark A B, etc. So she hasn't done much. So now I want to give her a little bit of feedback to say, well, remember that C squared equal A squared plus B squared, right? So now based on that formula, you should be able to to solve the problem. So how do I send it back? You see that icon there on the this icon here. So that's how I. Oops, I already. Let's see. So that's how I send it back. Let's see if I So you see the C2, the C squared equal A squared plus B squared is here. So basically any note that I wrote here is already here on Francis basically iPad and LibreCanvas. And so that's how you can use LibreCanvas as a collaboration tool in the classroom. Right. Any questions so far? Is this overwhelming? Is
So instead of normally when a child has a question, you're going to raise your hand, you're going to go to the child, but you don't want the others to necessarily.
That's right. This is a little test, but yeah, that's right. But this is just an example, of course.
Right, but that's a little private communication between you and the student, and you don't give anything else to
That's right. Yeah. So because some students may be struggling, other students may not be struggling. So that's how you get, personal attention. And you know maybe already who the students that need attention. Now, some other way of sharing your Canvas or your work. So I'm going to go back here to the share menu. And so you see that there is an email icon, there is a message icon. So you can email your the work that you've done on your LibreCanvas. You can right now you can email an image, or you can email a link to the canvas. So and again, if it's a link, it has to be on the cloud. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the message just for simplicity because email is kind of slow. And I'm going to send an image to. Okay, so I'm going to send an image. I'm sending a text message with a snapshot of the canvas that we have here to my phone number. Just arrived. So this is a text that I sent to my telephone. So now if you want to send feedback to a student who's not in the classroom, or who's at home or somewhere else, or you want to share your content with other teachers, so you can send email again, or you can send a text. And so here's that changes the orientation. This is the same file that I had. Right. That's it. So this is.
That would be giving all your students your cell phone number, though. You can send a text.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's there is some privacy issues that need to be worked out. That's more of kind of I would say part of the process that you have to work out with your school. And actually, there is some services that you can use. I haven't tested them yet, though. Now, basically, you can use them, but they will mask your phone number. So basically, you will keep your privacy. Basically, they won't give out your phone number, but you still can send out your text. And last and not least, so I showed you earlier I mentioned earlier about saving this to the cloud. So when you're ready to save this, so there are two options besides saving this to the tablet. So you see there's a tablet there. So you can save this to. Right now you can save to LibreCloud, so you can use LibreCloud as your cloud storage. That's where you keep all your teaching material. Or you can save it to Google Drive. So save to Google Drive, you'll be prompted, of course, to log into your Google Drive app. And so this will go to your Google Drive, and then anybody who has the app can retrieve it from there as well. So that's it. So basically, there you go. These files usually, if there is a recording with it, audio recording, animation and so on and so forth, tutorials, they're fairly big files, but not as big as videos. So videos are huge. It takes an enormous amount of time when you upload it, and I'm sure you've tried that. The same with the Canvas file. It's not that long. It's usually much faster, but still, they are megabytes instead of a few megabytes instead of dozens of megabytes. Google video and YouTube video can easily reach 100 megabytes very quickly. they're much easier to manage and to transfer. All right, so how are we doing with time? All right, so we have 5 minutes left. I don't know if you have any questions, and you want to go over some other stuff. But what do you think? Let me ask you a question then. So what do you think? Any thing that kind of lights going on that you think you can use the app in the classroom?
Is it only for iPads, or is it?
This is a conference for iPad. So
Okay,
we're not allowed to talk about Android. Yes, actually, we are announcing the Android version next month. So it's going to come up next month. So by the way, it's today only, is available for free. There's a free version of the app on the store, on the App Store today. So for you that you like to be here, we should be there because I posted yesterday, so we should be there. But we have not announced yet the free version, so it will be off the store in the next couple of days. So if you want to try it out, just download it from the App Store.
What would you say makes your app different from your competitors, like Notability or other note-taking apps? Like we use Notability at our school, and there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you feel like makes your app different.
Yeah, but the benefits of LibreCam, besides having we're trying to incorporate as much functionality that you only need one app, right? So you don't need multiple apps. I'm not sure about Notability, the collaboration capability of Notability, right? So that's definitely one aspect that we have incorporated into the app, because what you end up doing is you use one app for recording, tutorial, taking notes, whatever. Another app maybe in the classroom to share, to collaborate. Another app maybe because you want to create your charts and so forth. So while we realize we cannot be the best at every single aspect, but the majority of us, I would say, of you, maybe use 50% of the feature of a professional app, if even, right? So we try to incorporate as much functionality that we think is useful to you for every single aspect. So you only have to use one app instead of having to use multiple apps. So that's we're not the best, maybe. If you want to create a very fancy tutorial, you use Camtasia. Camtasia is a $200 professional tool. Not everybody is going to, the students are not going to use Camtasia, right? So they can, but they're not going to spend $200. This is, it's going to be free, it's going to be a few dollars at most, so it's accessible to a lot of people, basically, that's all. And then, of course, one of the advantages that we didn't go over is the fact that everything that you create here is integrated with LibreCloud. LibreCloud is a platform where basically you can create materials, you can create web pages very simply, you can create books, you can create lesson plans, you can even create ebooks in LibreCloud. So everything you create in LibreCanvas can actually even end up with an ebook that you want to publish. So it's the integration with LibreCloud is also another distinguishing benefit.
What if, so do you do a lot of teaching in Europe, or are you mostly in?
Yeah, so my business partner is in Europe. And so he's been an educator, as I said, for more than 20 years. So he has a lot of relationships there. And so we're doing a lot of beta testing with them. I am the technology creator, and I'm based here in the US. But I'm starting to do some marketing myself, and so I'm looking for teachers who want to beta test, who are interested, and who are puzzled, and so yeah, I would like to do it here. In fact, I'm working with my local school district in Saratoga, California, and I have a Spanish teacher, and we have, when when I go back, we took it together because she wants to try the app. So if you guys wanted to try it, I'll be happy to help you.
And what is yours, what is their relationship with the iPads, like European schools? I was just thinking of that.
Actually, the Android requirement is much stronger in Europe than here. That's where we are, we're announcing next month. iPads, pretty much they are everywhere here. Android is not as common. In Europe, it's the opposite. Because, they are more expensive, I guess, and Europe has a very, they are very afraid of, monopolitic, I would say, tying yourself to one technology. They want open sources, so they really, and Android is an open source, right? So it's an open source, so that's why it's more popular in Europe. So there is a lot of, like Moodle. Have you ever heard of Moodle? Is a learning management platform. Is very popular in Europe because it's an open source. So Europe is very much an open source type of field. So we have to play that game. So that's why we're releasing the Android version.
So is there the same technology push in the European schools?
Yes, there is. There are some business factors that are different, that makes it different. So how we market it in Europe is different than how we market it here. So, just FYI, for instance, in Europe, kids, so many countries, kids buy the books. Here, people don't buy the books. The kids, my kids didn't buy the books. They ever bought. I don't know what, in your schools, do the kids buy the books? Or basically, usually the library basically provides the books, so you can check out the books, and then you return the books at the end of the year, right? So, basically what I'm trying to say, families in Europe are accustomed to having to pay something to get education, right? So, even to buy the book. And so there we can go to the parents and say, parents, why don't you buy a membership to LiberCloud or to LiberCampus? And with in cooperation with the teachers, of course, because the kids cannot just go with the LiberCloud and say, we have to do this. And here instead, we have to think of a different business model. But that is not going to prevent me from starting to work and try to understand if we're solving the right problems and what problems that we're not solving or should be solving, and so on and so forth. Make sense? Any other questions? Yeah.
So some things that you cannot do with the cameras?
That's a good question. Something I cannot do. Right now what I cannot do, I was in a session earlier, said, and we're talking about screencasting. So one of the questions you have to face when you do screencast is, do you want your picture you're on screencast, right? So, or you want you basically talking into the camera. That's something that you cannot do. That's something you cannot do. We may be able to do eventually at some point. We can take advantage of the video camera.
Right, so right now it's just audio.
But it's we were really more initially into be able to create tutorials instead of putting up a face there. But for certain grades, definitely it's nice to have a face, right? To have a face, so maybe we can come up with some ideas of a little picture in the corner or something like that. So that's one thing we definitely don't do. There are a lot of things that we don't do, like if you're familiar with this, so like now we cannot like some we have seen, and if you have used those big usually the whiteboards, what do you call them, interactive whiteboards. One of the new features that they have is the ability, so you write and basically converts the text basically into type text, right? So that's something we want to do eventually. So it's one thing we don't do, but it's one of those things that you improve on, right? All right. Well, thank you for coming by, and so if you again, if you are if you like what you saw, that you want to experiment, I'm here based in the U.S., so I'll be able to help you out. I'll give out some business cards actually. I have some information here if you want to take with you. So